Thanks again for Roz's brain in bringing us all together. And again, I really liked Jake's presentation. I thought it was really fantastic. And it's really interesting being from Patagonia land. I live 2.5 miles from the corporate headquarters of Patagonia, and how that corporate culture has not only reflected the community culture, but is reflected in how the community has grown. And really our conversations as a community since the mid-1980s have been around sustainability and competing visions of sustainability. And a lot of this has to do with our vision of ourselves historically as an agricultural producer. So some of you may be familiar with a national model of legislation called SOAR, Save Our Agricultural Resources. It actually originated in the city of Ventura as an effort to halt urban sprawl. And then we also are one of the stronger communities in California of new urbanism. And part of that is based on our former mayor, Bill Fulton, who those of you who do planning know that Bill is one of the premier land use planning experts, and also Rick Cole. So what we talked about a little bit at our table, our breakout session, was a global context. And the fact that by 2025, we're gonna have to feed 8 billion people. 80% of those people are gonna live in developing countries, 58% in rapidly growing urban areas. If you wanna lose some sleep, I would suggest that you read a book by Larry Smith from UCLA called The World in 2050. And it really talks about the geopolitical situation around food. I'm a US historian, and I study basically food systems in times of crisis, food policy in times of crisis, especially wartime. And I believe food is national security, and I think that we don't think of it enough in terms of a global context as the truly destabilizing political force that it represents across the world. And worldwide cereal demand is going to increase. So these countries like China and India that are having economic growth, sort of like what we had post-World War II, guess what? They want to eat like we do. They want more meat demand. Calorie requirements and dietary trends and changes are going to translate to even greater water demand. I'm not trying to be gloomy, but these are some little quotes. And National Intelligence Council, William Lesher, and me. This is a Sputnik moment for American agriculture. So our roots are in the West, but our work has global impact, and as a major agricultural, natural resource, and energy producer, I think the West is going to play a vital role in answering this question. And what can we do to meet these challenges? We're in the really interesting organization that is launching into a second century of innovation. And I think we also have to think of that. Now, the different kinds of sustainability, we're obviously at this conference talking about science sustainability. Qualitative, quantitative, policy, practice, people. We're hearing about all these terrific programs. I've taken copious notes. I want to do every one of them in California. I'll be calling each one of you. I want to talk to you a little bit about the organizational aspects of sustainability and a model for extension work, and then a little bit about the Smith-Lever Centennial. So the University of California Agriculture and Natural Resources, like everyone else, gutted by retirements, declining budgets. And so in 2008, we hit a crisis point. So we undertook a very difficult, painful process. We broadly conceptualized a 2025 strategic vision plan. I put a hyperlink in the presentation on the flash drive for you that we rolled out across the state in 2009. And what we did is we identified initiatives that we felt represented the best opportunities for our existing infrastructure and talents to seek new resources and new ways of partnering within and outside of UC to find solutions for California, but also for California as a global player. We initially launched 4 initiatives: invasive and endemic species, sustainable natural ecosystems, healthy families and communities, sustainable food systems. I lead the Sustainable Food Systems Initiative. Each of these initiatives has sustainability language and goals built into them. So even the healthy families and communities is all about sustainability. So the initiatives work together. We cross-reference work, we're collaborative, we're collegial. The team leaders meet together monthly. The SI leader chair, who is our first among equals, reports directly to our associate vice president of extension. So we've minimized layers of bureaucracy. Each initiative focuses on sustainability in some way. One of the things that we do is we shepherd grants programs. So what we did that was very painful is we took all the different pots of money that were around there from different endowments, different grant programs, we aggregated them. And so we've been able to come up with between $3.6 and $4.2 million annually to project out across 5-year cycles to fund programs. And so what we do is we shepherd the grants programs, and each year the initiative leaders get to refine the language, and the grants programs are actually driven by strategic plans that we developed. We advise the vice president and senior leadership on resource allocation, not only grants, but what academic positions are we going to hire, and where are we going to put them? And we work closely with our statewide programs. And we also sponsor our own program activities, including webinars. So our initiative just did a webinar series. I provided a link so that you can go look at some of the webinars that we provided to the public and to stakeholders and to internal audiences. Now, each leader has a panel that he or she works with. They're broadly representative of people within the university, not just extension, but people on campuses. We have strategic plans. So in the sustainable food systems area, our 4 key areas of inquiry where we prefer research and extension, we target our resources there right now, but it's evolving. Food safety, improving competitiveness and productivity of agriculture, supporting the sustainability of small farms, which we read broadly to include local and regional food systems, and water resources. The water resources need is so great that we actually have spun that off into its own initiative, and it's now a program and a new institute. Go check out their work, innovative. The last 2 years, we decided to focus on local regional food systems and urban ag because it was of common interest across our 5 initiatives. And it was an opportunity to aggregate and capitalize. And so the initiative leaders agreed to support several proposals in this area, and we got FTEs too. And so Rachel Searles, who will be presenting to you later this morning, is our first sustainable food systems advisor in the state of California. We are hiring 4 more, have actually already hired 2, are hiring 4 more food systems advisors, and we've just hired a campus-based metro agricultural specialist. And these people then get to flow into grant work that's funded. And so these are some sample grants, and again, you can see, but they sort of sync around a certain area. We also made quite an investment in biofuels in our last grant cycle because the Sustainable Food Systems and Water Initiatives felt that was really important, and we invested like $1.2 million in some internal research and some positions. So since 2012, we've had 72 academic positions approved. We laid off a lot of staff. We didn't lay off an academic, we restructured our entire administrative organization. We're releasing positions in rounds, and we project them out. So what we do is right now we have 7 academic positions open. As they fill, we will open a new call and do those. We're also clustering hires. So for example, we're hiring viticulture advisors in a group maybe anchored by a specialist in viticulture, and then these food systems hires. You know, it's a pretty significant investment. You know, you're gonna have like 6 academic staff looking at different aspects. And again, we've hired 40 people since January, academics, since January 2012. We're rebuilding. You know, we're still retiring because we're all the wrong age, except Rachel's the right age, I'm the wrong age. So what I want you to think about too about sustaining organizations is how do we sustain ideals and the vision of extension, and what kind of things are we going to evolve into in the second century of innovation. You have until May 8th to think about this, because on May 8th we all need to stop somewhere and go, Woodrow Wilson, thank you. And I think when I look at the biggest challenge to our sustainability, it is the lack of public investment in agricultural research and education. And to me, that goes to informing decision makers and elected officials about the importance of science-based research. So now you're going to get to hear from three terrific presenters. We have One Sky, One Earth Food Coalition, the Power of Community Action, Iris Mays, the University of Idaho. She'll tell you more about her exciting work. School garden food safety, a topic that's of vital importance in many of our extension organizations, Monica Pastor, University of Arizona. And then the Grow LA Victory Garden Initiative, volunteer-led workshops on sustainable vegetable gardening, Rachel Searles, University of California Cooperative Extension. So Iris is going to come on up and take it over.